I first want to thank Braun for giving me tips to get up here in the chair. And thank you, because you are...
What tips did he give you?
To just feel the vibration and make that my single focus. And to feel it. Feel as if it already happened.
And be at the right point vibrationally for the conversation where it's unfolding.
And it is.
Yeah.
Perfectly. I had a question that I really want to ask, and the whole intention, but back on, like dovetailing off of what the last gentleman said.
Which is co-creating at its best.
Ugh.
Come with a list of questions. It might not be at the right place. Free flow. Stand in a place of inspiration. Let the inspiration flow to you. Different thing, isn't it? So where are you at?
Just had an experience yesterday of visiting a castle and not having things go entirely the way I thought it would, as far as getting back to the ship and feeling the sense of fear, like, oh my God, we're gonna not make it back, and experiencing how that fear just completely overtook me, and yet then had the awareness of the fear, and then looked up and said, you've always been there for me. I have that guidance, and then felt the fear just completely wash over me. And I just appreciate that conversation, because it was like, instead of being in that space of just fun and adventure, like we can't find a taxi cab, what the heck are we going to do? We're all the way up, in this castle. And being in that space of adventure, I got paralyzed by that fear.
So would you describe it as the momentum just got a little bit ahead of you? If you can recall the sequence of thoughts. So what was the sequence of thought?
We don't have a taxi cab waiting for us. He can't wait. So we're going to have to, in the end, find one. And immediately I started feeling that sense of fear. Like, oh my God, what if we can't find one?
So at that point, you had some options. Some options like, it'll work out all right. It will be all right. Something will work out. Things are always working out for me. But you didn't do that.
I actually did. So it subsided. We visited the castle, and then we were done. And as soon as we were done, we go to get a taxi cab, and there was no taxi cabs. And we go to call for a taxi cab, and there was none. We had to go then, go down on a bus. But that feeling of like, oh my God, like just fear of we're going to miss the cruise ship, like that catastrophic thinking, like the worst is going to happen. I'm with my 2 children, how are we going to get back, kind of thing.
Well, the thing that is most interesting, and the thing that we want most to talk with all of you about, is the propensity to panic, the propensity to freak out. It's not natural, but it's something that you must practice enough in order to keep the momentum of that going a little bit. Now, what happened? Did you miss the ship?
No. I don't think so, no.
So you didn't miss the ship. So did the fact that you worried about something that didn't turn out to be worrisome, does that leave you in a different place?
Yeah, but I felt the shift. Like that's something that, the sky is falling is how I was raised. So that was like, if there's something to worry about, you worry about it. And
here's the point that we're making with you. That may have been how you were raised, but that's not how the universe yielded to you yesterday. So which piece of information are you going to focus on and practice the vibration of for preparation of a vibration later on? In other words, what are you pre-paving? What are you pre-paving? So it turned out fine. Why are you wanting to introduce now, after the fact, into the scenario where it turned out fine? Why are you wanting to introduce the parts of it that were unsettling? What's that about? It's just a habit. It's just a habit. There's just some momentum going. So when you feel the momentum of something like that, and then you overlay it with your newfound logic, with your newfound well-being, with your newfound experience, what do you want to say to your children? Things usually don't work out for us, and we usually miss taxis, and then we miss the ship, and then we're stranded in a foreign place, and then we don't know what to do, and we don't have enough money, and don't know how to speak the language, and trolls come out from under the bridges and nibble on your little toes. In other words, what do you want to say to your children about it? What do you want to teach your children about it? What do you want to take away from it yourself? that things don't work out for you or that things do work out for you?
Things do. So in that moment, waiting for the bus, I went, wait a minute. Things always work out. I just looked up and saw the sky, and I'm like, angels, guides, I mean, Abraham,
So what's
you always
this
have my
conversation
back.
about? What are we talking about? Why do you want to talk about it now? Where do you want to leave it?
I want to go with what I initially wanted to talk about.
Say it.
What is, in your opinion, having it all? What is the it? What is the all?
Having contrast that you overcome. Because contrast brings clarity. Clarity brings alignment. Contrast brings expansion. Expansion is the most natural thing. Contrast is freedom. Contrast to choose. Contrast gives you an opportunity for control. Control is freedom. Control of your own vibration. Control of the only thing that you have control over. Can't control the taxi cabs, but you can control the way you feel. Can't control whether an engine overheats, but can control the fun that you're having. There are so many things you can't control that you think you need to control, and because you think you need to control things that you can't control, then you don't feel good, so then you don't control the only thing that you could control, and then you're not in control, and that's what makes you afraid. You get that? But isn't it nice that you have an experience? In other words, Esther would like to say to all of you, we will never leave you on shore. We will never leave you on shore. She didn't want to tell you right away because she wanted you to have some of these experiences. But we will never leave you on shore. We'll scold you when you get back. We will never leave you on shore. In other words, this ship knows whether you're on board or not. It's not going to go off and leave you anywhere. That's an irrational fear. So was it fear of being left? Was it fear of making a mistake? Was it fear of being judged? Was it fear of breaking a rule? There are so many unimportant things that you all worry about that you just beat up on yourself over and over and over unnecessarily, you see. When there's no judgment from what matters, you can't get it wrong. You can't be, by your standards, inappropriate enough. The source is going to take its loving gaze from you. In other words, nothing ever goes wrong. Nothing ever really goes wrong. But your perception of your value in the world is the only thing that goes wrong. Sometimes you stop liking you the way we like you, and when you do that, you don't feel good. That's as bad as it gets, you see. Enough?